What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Low Luxury, and welcome back to Low Luxury Archive. And we have spent weeks and weeks diving into the archives of Demna Gvasalia's Balenciaga. But here's the thing. I knew this day would come eventually, because we've looked at lots of Balenciaga, but that's not the only brand Demna has designed for. I knew eventually we would have to get into the Vetements archives. And this is the most beautiful bomber jacket I have ever seen in my life. It's Alpha Industries X Vetements by Demna. Kanye has worn the black version of this. It's so sick. We're not just going to look at the close-up details, although we will. We're also going to see the collection this piece came from, and then we'll try it on, see how it feels, see how it fits. But not just that, we're going to put together a look inspired by that original runway fit. So let's dive in. Yo. Before we get too much further, subscribe to the channel. I make tons of luxury and streetwear content. And also, if you're looking for deals on luxury and streetwear, check the description. I've got some of the best sites with all authentic stuff. Check it out. Oh man, I am so excited that we finally get to look at some Vetements. Oh, it's fun. So it has a lot of similarities with Balenciaga, but also some differences. Like, Balenciaga is weirdo stuff mixed in with high fashion, whereas a lot of Vetements is like true anti-fashion, like just like doing the opposite of what is cool at the time, but then making it cool at the same time, and that's what I love about it. So we are going back to spring 2018, which is a time when Demna was still designing for Vetements. And one thing I really love about Vetements is this sense of humor, and all of the looks in this collection, they're like posed in these really unnatural ways that is like heightening the vibe of unreality. And that's something Vetements was always trying to do. Demna was always trying to do with this brand, was like hammer home the point that these are not real life. They kind of look like real clothes, but they're not real clothes. It's not what you think it is. It's always playing with this weird dichotomy. So like, look at these poses. They're so funky and weird, but you're seeing a lot of through lines to Demna's other work in the color stories, in the love of wild outerwear especially, and also the love of streetwear, like collaborations with Umbro, I'm not sure exactly how to say it. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is very Balenciaga, especially the earlier Balenciaga stuff. Like, I'm thinking 2018 era, I see lots of similarities here. Vetements was also very collab heavy at the time. Like, I'd say most of these pieces are collaborative in some way, shape, or form. But man, they're sick. And we get down to look 44, and we see our piece. Not in the color per se. This is in the same black version that Kanye wore, but it is the same piece. It's like a double bomber. It's cut and sew. It's got panelings in the back, so it's like a bomber made out of multiple bombers to become very wide, very voluminous, but also has a classic bomber shape at the same time. You can see the little alpha tag there, the MA1 zipper, a lot of iconic stuff, but then some new twists that Demna threw in. So this is the look that we're going to be trying to kind of imitate here. And it's interesting because I always have a fun time trying to take inspiration from the women's wear pieces that we do, because I'm looking at a women's wear look and trying to turn that into a menswear look for me. So we'll see what we can do. But yeah, this is the origin of this insane bomber jacket. All right, now that we know where this piece came from, let's take a closer look. Ooh, that's a big boy. Oh my God. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's like peach on one side, pink on the other. Okay, before we get too far, let's look at the tags. So the first thing you should note here is that this piece is reversible. And I'm mentioning that now because it does change the way that you look at these neck tags, because it doesn't have the typical neck tag since it needs to work on the other side as well, as if this were at the back of the neck instead of inside it. So instead of a typical like Vetements neck tag, you get the embroidered logo that you'd usually see at the back of the neck, and then an Alpha Industries little patch here sewn down on all four sides, embroidered in orange. And again, due to the fact that it's reversible, you don't have care tags inside like you normally would. Instead, they are somewhere else. So let's follow this guy down to our pocket right here. A nice flat pocket. You open that up, we look inside, and we start to see what we're looking for here. So there are our tags. We've got a size right up front, in this case, extra small. And of course, we'll talk about sizing later. And of course, this being a Demna piece, it makes no sense. And that's on both sides there. We get our fabrication. This is a pure nylon bomber with polyester filling. And we've got knit cuffs and stuff, and those are made out of acrylic. This was made in China. I'm assuming it was made like at the Alpha Industries factory, so no surprises there. And if we look at the back, we start to get some of the Vetements information. So we get a model number, our colorway, so rose pink, and some wash symbols. And finally at the bottom, Vetements Group AG. So this tag looks very different from most Vetements tags, of course, because it's really coming more from Alpha Industries, just under the design decisions of Demna, which I think is really, really cool. All right, let's start looking at details. Whew, yeah. So the side that we're looking at right now is really a like rose gold or like glossy peach kind of color. It has a really nice sheen to it. It is the kind of classic nylon flight jacket fabrication that you'd expect. Oh, I just love this. We've got some really cool flat pockets that have a really interesting cut here where it's curved and then it kind of goes at a harder angle over here. Of course, the snaps match the color, which is a great touch. Our zipper, it is the classic, as I mentioned, MA1 zipper with this kind of, I'm guessing this is pleather pull tab here. But we do start to get some Vetements branding in there, because if we look at the zipper itself, it's a gold metal, and pressed into there, it does say Vetements. Of course, this being a kind of like classic cut bomber, we've got our pocket right here at the bicep, and we've got the Alpha Industries tag coming off the side there. And this guy does have another gold zipper on the side. This one says Alpha in it. And now let's start talking about some of the kind of cut and sew elements. So I mentioned that we've got ribbing down around the bottom and the cuffs right here and the neck. And it's really the neck where you start to see the cut and sew. Because normally a bomber neckline, it would be like this all the way around. But you can see it kind of juts out at the back, and there's an extra panel that comes up higher with that ribbing. It's really, really cool. I like the look of it, but from the back, it is even cooler. So this to me is really the standout element. And it doesn't look like much probably on camera, but in person, it is so cool. So clearly, we've got a bomber, like a single normal bomber here and here, but they have taken a strip from a second bomber and inserted it right down the middle, and it is also off center. So that's why the neck comes up higher, and then down at the bottom, at the hem, you can see the same thing, where now it comes up higher over here as well. So it's a really, really weird element that you wouldn't think would add so much, but it widens it, it adds to the volume, and it adds to just the silhouette of it as well. I love it so much. And right at the inside here, like behind the zipper closure, we do get an embroidered Alpha Industries logo as well. Hidden, but still cool. And now I've flipped it around to the reversible side, the inside, to look at the other side, because there are some differences here. So I will note that obviously it's a darker pink color, but also it's a softer fabric that they use on this side, which is why I generally tend to wear it the other way around, so that this softer side is on the inside and it's more comfortable to wear. But this side does have a great look, and just with that color difference, it means this side may work better with other looks, so I love, love, love having that versatility. Of course, as I mentioned, now that we've reversed it, what was the inside tag and stuff is now at the back of the neck. But you can also tell that Demna generally intended this to be the inside of it, even though it can be worn with this side as the outside. For instance, stitching like this one down the shoulder, this is not a stitch that's there on the other side, which indicates to me that it's the other side that is generally meant to be worn. Although having this as an option is beautiful. I love it. And now before we move on here, there's one last thing I want to do, because I have got a big old bag of add-ons here. So of course we've got various tags here, always good to have. We've got this guy, which is, I think, some sort of attachment. I honestly don't even know what that is. Okay, I'm sure someone tell me in the comments what that's even for. But I think the most important part here are these two. So we've got one attachment here that says on one side, Alpha Industries, on the other, remove before flight. And then we've got another that on the short side is the Alpha Industries logo, and on the other just says Vetements. And this is an attachment for that like zipper at the bicep pocket. And I think this is a no-brainer. I am going to throw this one on the zipper of the side that I wear the most. So let's throw it on. All right, so there's our zipper here. This is going to go on there. And there we go. That was the finishing touch that we needed. You know, you always got to show people that you're dripping. Take every opportunity, right? I love that. Now we've seen all of those details, it's time to try this piece on. But first, let's take another look at that original runway fit. All right, so I love this. So we're going to take inspiration here, but of course, we've got a different color jacket, so we've got to make some changes here. This one's rose, but I still want to bring in some of the black of the original jacket, and also I don't know how well the white pants will work anymore, so I'm making some changes. But as for the pants, I am keeping the kind of crop look that she has going here. So we're going to use some Rick Owens pants. It's like a dust gray. I think that'll go pretty well together. Obviously, I need a t-shirt underneath the jacket, and that's where the black starts to come in. I'm just going to keep it really, really simple with a Supreme Hanes t-shirt. Those things are so soft and comfy. And then obviously I don't have like heels, but to keep the open vibe, because the top of her foot is open here, I am going to go with some Gucci's, right? Some Gucci like horse bit loafers right here. So let's throw these on and see what happens. Okay, all right, I can get behind this look. I can work with that. It does have a kind of a feminine, soft quality to it, which I appreciate. That's what I always like, taking these women's wear looks. But let's talk about the jacket itself. And of course, we've got to talk about the sizing. You've probably finally now gotten the vibe on how big this thing really is. And keep in mind, it's an extra small, women's extra small. This is probably the most oversized Demna piece we've looked at. So if anything, his sizing has actually gotten more reasonable in the time he's been at Balenciaga, which is absolutely absurd when you think about it, huh? But I happen to really like the volume. Also, the amount of padding that this thing has is like the perfect amount. It's not too puffy. It's not a puffer jacket or anything, but it's also not like totally windbreaker thin. So I love that. And of course, those ribbed knit elements all around the cuffs and hems and stuff, absolutely perfect. The feel is awesome. Like I said, I prefer to wear it with the peach side out, pink side in, because the pink side is softer. So when you want the softest side to be touching you most of the time, at least. So that's the way I like to go. And I also think the color is a bit more versatile. With the harder pink, it's a bit tougher to pull off and put looks together, at least in my opinion. I like the softness of that lighter rose gold. So finally I found it. I love bomber jackets, but I'm kind of embarrassed to admit how long I have been looking for like my staple bomber jacket. I've been looking and looking. I got a Dior one. I've had other ones earlier than that. But finally, I know that this is going to be my go-to. I think this thing is perfect because it's got Demna's fingerprints all over it. It's so versatile with the reversibility. I love that this is our first archive piece for Vetements. And I hope we can do more in the future because there's some really, really cool Vetements stuff that I can't wait to look at with you. So that is the awesome like cut and sew bomber by Vetements. Take a look at the other video on screen here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time.